Thank you very much for the GIS for giving me the opportunity to talk today. And I think my talk has some common points from the prior talks, and maybe we can focus on the kind of niche and a brief messages that we can take home. So without taking too long into the clinical case summary, we start with a 68-year-old lady that is diabetic, hypertensive, also has a background of CKD, presented with chest pain, and was found to have unstable angina, had left her diagnostic angiogram that we will go through, revealed that she had left main disease with multivessel coronary disease. She was declined from CABG because peripheral vascular disease, etc. A heart team approach, PCI was embarked on, and the goal for complete revascularization. So this is the diagnostic angiogram. As you can see, there is severe disease in the mid-segment, calcified in the RCA. The flow is sluggish. We go further in the images, we also see the two orthogonal views showing that the significant calcified disease at the mid-segment. This is the left system projection, shows distal left main disease. The LAD also has significant proximal disease. The ongoing circ also has that disease. So what was our approach? This shows the proximal LAD significant disease. And this is further views. This was done in a different hospital. So what is our strategy? And these are the points that we want to tackle as we go, as to take-home messages. So we decided to use a staged approach, stage PCI, starting with the RCA, and then leaving the bifurcation LAD disease to a later setting. Also, intravascular imaging was utilized and for planning and optimization. We're not going to go into the details of intravascular imaging. We're going to use another niche to talk about, which is osteal disease DCB, which kind of jives with the prior talks. So going quickly through the images, guidelines support 2 drug-eluting stent, significant calcified disease, so delivery was an issue. Smaller balloon, gradual pre-dilatation, we got a good expansion, and later on we deployed the stents using a guideliner and overlapping the proximal segment, and I think we got a reasonable result. And for contrast and timing, we decided to stage the rest of the disease PCI to a different setting. And this is the final result. We were quite pleased with our result. Then we go to the left main LAD, LCX PCI. We used 7 French radial axis, dual wiring. And now this is the niche we're going to talk about, is using a hybrid approach where we use DES, where we think is reasonable, and DEB approach, which using an approach that gives left main bifurcation geometry preservation, and we used intravascular imaging. This is the 7 French that we used in a radial approach. We wired both vessels. We start with aggressive pre-dilatation of the ostium of the circ, and then further the pre-dilatation of the circ. Following that, we got a reasonable result. This is the DEB of the ostium of the circ, and that gave us a good lumen. Further pre-dilatation, there was a distal dissection of the circ that we later on tacked with stents. This is the intravascular imaging part. This presentation is short, so I elected to talk about the osteal DEB in LCX position. So, pre-dilatation, our usual PCI, further balloons, landing the stent in the iliocranial projection, doing POTS. We noticed that the osteocirc was pinched. That was not unexpected. We came back, we did aggressive post-dilatation, and we elected to cover that distal part of the mid-LCX AV groove circ with the stenting. Final part, and this is our final result. Going through kind of why we decided to stent this, maybe the ostium, leave it for DEB. So LCX ostium is problematic. We know that from the EBC main. LCX ostium causes 50–70% restenosis. TLR after left main PCI occurs regardless of single or dual stent strategy. 3-year diameter stenosis 60–65%. And this is kind of gives the rationale of metal sparing approach. What is the clinical challenges of osteocirc? Anatomical complexity, conventional DES limitation because of the stent strut coverage of the side branch, and this kind of gives us that what we were just talking about, the paradigm shift. Maybe osteal diseases will benefit with DEB or another approach that differs from our conventional planning. So why consider a drug-eluting balloon? Drug without metal, it's very attractive, reduced DAPT duration, and preserve the vessel physiology, basically the vasomotion, and reduce thrombosis risk, and maintain future treatment option for the vessel. Further evidence from this registry, 150 patients with DCB, 351 DAS. The 2-year TLF was 19 versus 19.8, non-inferior, longer lesion in DCB, and supports possibly DCB as a metal-sparing alternative in certain locations. Further evidence shows maybe DCB is inferior to DES in broad de novo large vessels, higher repeat revascularization. As we mentioned, DES remains the standard of large non-complex lesion, but osteal anatomy is unique, and selective DCB may be beneficial in certain cases. Further evidence from a propensity match analysis shows superior TLR outcome, reduced MACE, equivalent safety, but this is not randomized trials. And what are the technical considerations? So we have to be meticulous. Plaque shift dynamics, lesion preparation protocol with aggressive pre-dilatation, strut-free advantage, and edge dissection risk. So you have always to be ready with your bailout procedure. What is the DCB therapeutic approach? Aggressive balloon inflation, no metal left behind, and drug transfer and natural healing of the vessel. So why we conclude here? It's shown proven efficacy, possible superior outcome in observational study, and technical expertise is required. So we need further evidence, as we mentioned in the panel, longer multi-center randomized trial, longer follow-up beyond 2 years, and cost effectiveness analysis is very important. We have to be very careful what medical therapies we give our patient and how it impacts our healthcare system. Optimal DCB coating formulation, as we mentioned, paclitaxel versus et cetera, and standardized lesion preparation protocols. What is the clinical implementation? We have to develop certain program, teaching, integration with the guidelines, et cetera. And so our key messages from our case, I saw her in follow-up, she was doing fine. For now, I think, this is a personal experience, it's not evidence-based, but stage PCI improves safety. DEB is viable for osteal LCX under correct condition. Intravascular imaging is essential for left main bifurcation, accuracy, and hybrid approach of DCB with a bailout DES is effective. Thank you very much.